we have Steve joining us now. Steve is an Amazon veteran. I believe he joined in 2002, but started interning in 2001, right at a real low point for Amazon. So he's in a very interesting phase in its development. And he is now the Vice President of Middle Mile Product and Technology. So he's very deep in the world of everything that Amazon is doing around AI and operations. So I will come and join you on the chair here. Thank you. So Amazon has been harnessing all types of AI for quite some time now. It's not exactly new to this game. Some of you in the audience have probably seen videos of robots whizzing around your warehouses. Could you just start by giving us a bit of a sense of the main ways that you've been harnessing AI in your world specifically in recent years in operations?
Yeah, so first, good to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Tom.
Absolutely.
Good to see everybody. So we've been using AI for, I've been at Amazon more than 2 decades, and we've been using AI for at least that long, ranging from machine learning for our forecasting models to decide how much inventory to buy to stay in stock, to also personalization. So you've probably seen this. Customers who bought this also bought this. Customers who browsed for this ultimately bought this. So we have a long history of applying AI and ML. More recently, in my space, we've been working on things like mapping and routing, and robotics, and forecasting and inventory placement as key areas where we apply AI and ML.
Great. And sort of looking ahead, what new opportunities are you most excited about? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about generative AI at the moment. So I guess if we talk about that, what scope do you see for that specifically in your world, and then other technologies too that you're excited about?
Yeah, so I think with generative AI, it's one of, in the last 100 years, there have been probably 4 major technology waves. The PC, obviously, then networking and the internet, and then finally mobile, where you have a high-speed internet access and computer in your pocket. Think about how much that has changed your industry. Not just technology, but like how we work completely. I think generative AI is the next big wave. And so, we've all got to lean into it and, decide how it's going to influence our business. So, we've thought about, what's it mean to us? The prior panel, they mentioned upskilling, and that's really important to us. We need to make sure that our employees are prepared, ranging from knowledge workers and upskilling them to also helping our sort of fulfillment center employees to improve their skills to be more savvy with robotics. We have a mechatronics program, and for our knowledge workers, and actually available to anybody, I encourage you to check out AI Ready, which is pledged in the next year to train 2 million people for free with AI upskilling. So it's really important to sort of help our employee base and our engineering base to be really savvy with AI. When I think about innovation, it's important to drive innovation at scale. And so you can do that partly top down, with your ideas or with experts' ideas, but it also comes bottoms up, prototyping, bringing ideas. I do sort of every 2 weeks open session where anybody on my team can bring a demo and a prototype. And then we see, we rapidly iterate and we double down when it works. And so that approach has worked really well for us. And again, I encourage you each to think about how are you going to innovate, how are you going to iterate, and how are you going to upskill your employees?
Mm. And looking back, I imagine not everything has gone perfectly when it comes to deploying these new technologies in Amazon. So I wondered if you could just share what lessons you would have around how to do this well. When there's an exciting new technology, how do you make sure you get the most impact from that?
Yeah, so it starts with looking at, what are the normal business problems that you're facing. So if I go back to the pandemic, we basically increased our fulfillment center footprint by double in just under 18 months. So if you can just imagine doubling the size of your operations that rapidly, that increases opportunities. And so when we were looking at it, sort of once we got through that growth phase, we said, how do we step back and optimize it further? we saw some insights that there are products that we could ship more regionally. And so in the US, we broke the nation into 8 regions. And each region, we made sure it was sort of fully connected so that we can get products to customers quickly from their local fulfillment centers, shipping less distance. And so when we thought about that, AI can help us achieve that business objective by, in this case, predictively placing our inventory. So you can only ship regionally if it's proactively put there regionally. And so we have hundreds of thousands of sellers sending hundreds of millions of products to us. Not all of those have a sales history. So we stepped back and said, how do I get a sales history so that I can proactively place into a local region? And we actually used some skills and techniques from the personalization so to kind of bootstrap a forecast. So we took, for a brand new product, we took similar products and then said, what is their regional sort of flavor? So again, like a simple example is a winter hat. It's going to have more demand in some regions than other regions. And so, but if you've never sold a particular winter hat, you still need to have that forecast. And so AI helped us there. So very practical business problem, created a win-win opportunity for us where we improved speed, reduced our cost, and reduced our carbon. We're now shipping things in Europe, year over year, we're shipping things 25 kilometers fewer year over year.
Steve, I know one thing that you're particularly passionate about is how at Amazon you can use technology to make sure that small businesses can benefit from the ecosystem. So could you tell us a bit about how you're thinking about that?
Yeah, I really enjoy enabling small businesses. We work with a range of small businesses from our seller population, who are basically coming up with their own products and selling them on our website and our store. To also small business delivery partners. You've probably seen Amazon's vans and other things delivering packages. And so my mentality is, how do we take this cutting edge technology, how do we build enterprise tools and give those enterprise tools to small businesses who may not otherwise have access to that level of technology. They may not have their own software engineers in their company and may not have the skill set yet. And so we basically will build those and offer those to small businesses. For our delivery partners, that's mapping and routing. Things like predicting how long is the stop sign or stoplight going to take. When I'm in a given community, how long does it take between each stop? That enables those small businesses to better plan their workforce and basically improve speed to customers as well. So those are a few examples.
So we're going to have time for questions in a moment. So again, I would encourage you to use the Slido. If there's anything you'd like to ask Steve about technology and operations at Amazon. But same question as the last panel before we do that, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Any advice that you would have? Any sage words of wisdom you'd pass on?
Yeah. I look for win-win opportunities. If you kind of go back to robotics, this is a win-win with our employees. And by the way, if you haven't seen our robotics in action, it's like this beautiful ballet. It's really amazing to see. And we have tours open to the public. And so you can go see it in person. And what you'll see is robotics and employees working side by side. Robotics actually make their lives easier with, less walking. And better ergonomics, where the robotics will present the product to them in their ergonomic power zone. So you don't need to reach lower or higher; it's like right there. And so these are good, again, win-win opportunities, and I would keep looking for those. Another one is how do you iterate? Again, the best ideas are not going to come top down; they're going to actually come bottoms up, because it's something that sounds like a good idea may not actually pencil out once you prototype it. And vice versa, like little tweaks will go a long way. And then upskilling again. So if I go into like kind of the little tweaks, some of you may have seen recently on our product detail page, we launched sort of review summarization. So I really like this. I use it a lot already. Instead of wading through hundreds of reviews, we use generative AI to summarize the reviews into like one easy paragraph. Customers tend to like this. They don't like this part as much. And it helps you make a better decision really rapidly, very practical. It's not sort of scary. It's, it's smart, and it's saving you time. We have a fit advisor, which is kind of like the second sort of phase of that, where for a piece of apparel or a dress, it sort of describes how does it fit, what types of customers enjoy this piece of apparel. And then we've gone into Rufus, which is our sort of AI shopping assistant. And so you can kind of see we've iterated from simple to more sophisticated over time. And I think by getting started, you can double down on what works. So those are my key messages. Yeah.
Happy to take some questions?
Yeah. Great.
Great. Could we see any questions, if we have any? Or any questions from the audience? Any brave souls that would like to put their hands up and ask anything? Gentleman here, yeah.
I have seen your Kiva robots running around. They're brilliant. There's a whole range of new AI tools to develop more automation.
Okay, sorry. I'm not. Does this work now? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's good.
I was just saying, I've seen all your Kiva robots running around, really impressive. There are a whole range of new AI tools to develop automation. How are you using them, and what kind of additional automation are you thinking about?
Yeah, you'll see AWS has released several new tools. For example, Bedrock or Code Whisperer. And not to just focus on AWS, but there are a number of tools that you can go out and use. And so, first I would encourage, it kind of goes back to upskilling. So I'd find ways to get your engineers the right sort of training and expertise so that they start to play with these tools. Another thing that we tried out is how do I create sort of savviness? So we published some best practices to our employee base, showing like, all right, here's 5 ways to use Code Whisperer to actually be sort of more productive when you're coding. So those types of things help a lot. Again, like I think data is really important. So having a great set of data pipelines is really important. High quality data. The better the data is going in, the better the recommendations from the AI will be coming out.
We have a question from the interwebs. So how do you find and source new small companies to work with?
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends. For our seller population, there's a way to, sort of register and apply to be a seller. So that's basically open to any business. The businesses that tend to be most successful are the ones that are, very motivated, have a unique product. For our delivery partner program, similar thing. We look for very motivated entrepreneurs, great leaders first and foremost. Contrary to other, other types of businesses, like we look for those leadership principles first and foremost. And then we kind of, as much as possible, give the enterprise level tools and playbook to sort of add the industry expertise on top of that great leadership. So we think that works best for customers and for employees.
Great. We have about 2 minutes left on the clock. So we have one question up here, if the microphone bearer wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm curious, how did you respond to that challenge when the UK government changed the legislation about VAT accreditation?
Yeah, not really my area of expertise, so I can't really speak with that, but we've got some folks you can chat with later for an answer on the VAT.
We have one gentleman up the back here, and sorry, I know there was one more there that I missed, but maybe we start with...
Hi, Steve. Thanks very much. The perennial question, what's the roadmap? What are you going to be doing next with AI?
Yeah, I think it's really important to remember, like, we're still in day one. And so I think none of us really know exactly what's going to happen in the next year and 3 years. And so, we really just go back to what do customers want? What do our different customer segments want? So, consumers shopping in our store, how can they benefit? Small businesses, how can they benefit our employees? So, rather than saying like, what are we going to build precisely? We say, how can we benefit safety, speed, productivity, and those, sort of we work backwards from those needs to say, what are we going to build? And so we have prototypes going in each of those areas.
going to squeeze one more question in. I think there was a gentleman that I saw. Oh, there's a lady over here. Perhaps one of our kind mic bearers can. Sorry, I realize that's a way for you to run across the room.
Routing optimization helps here too.
Thanks so much. I would like to know how we will cope with sustainability, as we know how huge the CO2 emission are and how big the consume of energy is.
Oh yeah, I mean, sustainability is a great opportunity, I think, for all of us. Again, I look for win-win opportunities. What I love about working on technology in particular is when you improve an algorithm, it usually just reduces waste, and that waste is sustainability-related waste, or it could be cost-related waste, or sort of dwell time, which equates to speed. And so with routing, when we sort of find a more optimal route, it reduces wait time or reduces driving time. That then goes straight back to reducing carbon as well. So we reduce our distance traveled per package on average by 25 kilometers year over year. That goes straight to a carbon benefit. We're also deploying electric vehicles. You may have seen, for example, Rivian vans. What I love about that is sustainability benefit. It's also optimized for driver ergonomics. And so again, it's kind of a win-win outcome in terms of cost, sustainability, productivity. So that's how I think about this. And when you're researching on different algorithms, usually you can find ways to reduce the waste, and it just keeps paying dividends.
Sadly, the screen is flashing red at me as we have run over time. But
Cool.
Steve, thank you so much for joining
Thanks,
us.
Tom.
Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.